I think we can safely say that the 2020 season is over and done with. Whatever you got from it is done. Alright, so what if I was to tell you that there's more than one way to train through a winter, or skin a cat, or, you know, whatever the saying is. Let's face it, if you live in the northern hemisphere, like a lot of us schmucks, winter is a cold, wet, dark time of year. It's really, for me anyway, not conducive to doing my long winter miles, my slog sessions. There's a new way. So if you follow this channel, then you will know my overall overriding aim is to help you fulfill your potential by giving you as many bits of information that I can to help you be able to coach yourself. That's my ultimate aim. It's not for me to coach you, it's that you have the knowledge and the tools to coach yourself. Right, it's really bad here. So this is what I'm proposing to do today, is I'm going to give you 2 ways of training through the winter, depending on your ability level and a number of different factors. And because I'm trying to give you the tools that you need to be your own coach, you can decide, thanks Winnie, which is the best way to do it. And I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of each way. Now, the 2 ways you can look at attacking your winter are traditional and reverse periodization. And by the way, the term periodization just means a way of structuring your season properly. And by the end of this video, not only are you going to know which one of the 2 approaches is right for you as a runner or triathlete, but also how to implement that approach through your winter. And as if it was meant to be, this run is too much of a horrible day and a slog for me to enjoy making this video out here, so I'm going to do the rest from home. But also, I just remembered I don't have a key on my phone, and Mary's going out very soon. I don't want to be locked out in this. Another time. Oh. Uh-oh. All clean. You know I love a visual representation of the point I'm trying to make, don't you? Just bear with me. Okay. Here we go. Here are your 2 forms of winter training in 2 roughly similar sized saucepans or years. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, the apples are going to be your base training, your bigger, longer, easier runs, rides, swims, whatever you want to call it. The bananas are going to be the same. Maybe apples is running and bananas is cycling. Who knows? This is from my brain. And the eggs, these are going to be the shorter, harder, more intense interval style sessions, speed work, things like that. Okay, traditional training, periodization, normal periodization, harking way back. The way that you approach your winter is this. What you do is you get your big sessions, your long sessions, your aerobic sessions, and you pop them in over the winter, nice and easy and early. And you build that big, juicy base. Let's put a couple of bananas. And you build that big, juicy base in there. And then what happens is, you come to spring, and you start to sprinkle your speed work on top, your more intense stuff, because you've already got that base set. Now, does that all fit nicely into the periodization season? Yeah, it does. And it's fine, and it works, and it has worked for many years. But if you're like me, and let's just say that the winter is a hard time and it gets dark and it gets cold and the motivation does drop because I get home from work and all I really want to do is stay in the warm, then maybe reverse periodization is for you. And because how that works is, I have to be careful with the eggs. The shorter, sharper, more intense stuff goes in first. And then when the winter is done and the spring starts coming along with its lighter days and warmer days, you start putting the longer stuff on top. And does it still fit? Hell yeah, it still fits. All we've done is we've reversed the process and still achieved our long-term overall goal. We've just done it in a way that suits us better in a northern hemisphere cold, dark winter. Now I need to clean this up as well. Mary is very patient with me. So as you can see, you could probably get the same training effect with either method. You now just need to have the information to be able to pick which method suits you best. And that is slightly easier. You see, if you think about it, reverse periodization starts with quite a lot of intensity early on, some interval training sessions. And if you don't already have your base underneath that, as in if you are newer to triathlon or running, if you're a beginner or even an intermediate, then maybe reverse periodization might be something that you could look at down the line, maybe next year once you've built your base a little bit more and your body's alright to kind of take the load that you're going to put it under, that you've invested in strength and conditioning. So I wouldn't necessarily say that beginners should think about immediately starting reverse periodization, but it is certainly something that you could work towards. Also, if you're just a runner, and I don't mean it as in just a runner because you are a runner, but I meant a runner instead of a triathlete, then that is a lot of intensity early on your legs. So you have to make sure that you're not necessarily injury prone, and maybe if you have a bike and a turbo trainer, then you can definitely get away with doing some hard FTP style sessions right at the top end, interval wise on the bike, and it can have the same benefit as if you were to do it out on the road or running. As in, that power that you'll be putting through the pedals will translate into your running. So you could do it, if you're a triathlete or a runner, you can focus as well on the bike and you'll still see the gains in your run. So who is reverse periodization for? Well, first and foremost, like I said, it's for people that really struggle to train through the winter in the dark and the cold, find it harder to find the time or to get back out there once you get in and it's all nice and warm. But it is also for experienced athletes, for people that maybe want to try something different and already have that base underneath. And having the base underneath is not the be all and end all, but it is nice to be able to put the hammer down and know that you're going to be really okay because you've trained like this before, you've done a winter or two in terms of building a base. It's not essential, but I'm just trying to give you the information that you need to make your decision one way or the other. Now, ultimately, it is your decision and your decision alone. All I can do is guide you and give you the pointers. However, if you decide to go the reverse periodization route, then let me be clear that you still need to do some base training. You need to do some long, steady work, whether that be cycling or whether that be running. And you can do that with probably one long run a week or one long bike. And they don't have to be super long, just an easier, basey type run or bike. Then in the week, that's when you can sprinkle in 2 to 3 higher intensity runs, and then maybe even some bikes as well, and make sure you focus on your strength and conditioning because your body is absolutely going to need it when you are starting to work it harder. And you know what? There's loads of sessions on the channel. There are interval sessions, there are tempo sessions, there are tips for the long runs. There is a little bit of everything, again, to help you be your own coach on this channel. So consider subscribing, no hard sell, but if you want to try and teach yourself how to do these things and maybe help other people along the way, then I'm hoping that this channel will give you the tools that you need to be able to do that. And if you're wondering why I didn't instead use the analogy or metaphor of making a cup of tea, whether you put the hot water and tea bag in first or you put the milk in first, because essentially it's a cup of tea at the end of the day, no one should ever put milk in before the hot water and tea bag. What are you, a psychopath? No way I'm using that analogy, sorry. Pure psychopath. Now, What's coming up soon? We've got loads of stuff coming up on the channel that I'm really excited about. This week, Mary is going to be running the virtual New York Marathon. Can you believe it? Hopefully the weather is better than today. We've got so many things coming up. I've partnered with a local running store up and running who have given me some things to test. So I'll be doing some tests, some reviews. I've got races coming up. I've got tips coming up. I've got everything, so make sure that you stick around, and I'll see you Sunday where Mary will be running the virtual New York Marathon. Fingers crossed for her.